everyone, welcome back to the Vibes Show. It's your host Favour Daramola, and today we've brought another interesting topic to your screen: work-life balance and mental health. A lot of us are all about the hustle bustle lifestyle, and we do not see the impact it's having on our mental health. We're just all about how many extra hours we can clock in and how much extra money we can make. And as much as the money is good, we also need to pay attention to its effect on other areas of our lives, because it in turn, either directly or indirectly, affects our mental health. Today we're going to be diving deep into this topic, and we'll be analyzing its impacts and important and strategic ways to strike a healthy balance. Don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back. This is the Vibes Show. Okay, welcome back. So to start with this topic, we're going to be analyzing the 8 plus 8 plus 8 rule. Some of you might have heard about this rule, and this simply means that you apportion 8 hours of your time. We all have 24 hours. Everybody has an equal 24 hours in a day, right? So you apportion the first 8 hours, maybe not the first, but you apportion 8 hours of your 24 hours in a day to sleep and rest, quality sleep and quality rest, and then the other 8 hours to deep and concentrated work, and the other 8 hours to other areas of your life, which includes relationship with family and friends, and spending time doing your things you love doing, your hobbies, self-care, just other things randomly, health and fitness and lifestyle, other areas of your life. How intentional you are about these 3 categories of 8 is very important. And a lot of times, even though we are supposed to apportion 8 hours of our day to deep work, most of the time, unconsciously, we exceed those 8 hours, and then it eats into other areas of our lives, either our quality sleep or quality time we're meant to spend with our families, or other areas of our lives, right? The time we're meant to invest into other important areas of our lives. So we're going to be looking now into strategic ways we can ensure effective work-life balance. A wise man said that to be intentional about your time management, you need to take one vitamin. The most important vitamin that you need to take is the vitamin N. Have you ever heard about that? The vitamin N. Okay, so this is interesting because the vitamin N simply means no. So the ability to say no is the one most important thing you need to, is a very important skill that you need to have, and you need to sum up the courage to do, right? Because sometimes it's difficult to say no because you don't want to offend others, and you don't want to feel like you don't want to look like you don't care, you know. So that is understandable. But if you are going to manage your time appropriately and have effective work-life balance, then you have to be able to say no. Because when you don't say no, you are giving and giving and giving, and you give to the point where, whether you are conscious of it or not, it begins to affect you. So, and that leads us to the next point, which is setting healthy boundaries. You cannot set healthy boundaries if you do not know how to say no. So those team members that are giving you their extra work to do, or that are always calling on you to quickly jump on a quick meeting with them at the time you're meant to be doing some other important things, those things are eating into your time. And if you're not being paid for those extra things you're doing, while it is good, but we need to be able to strike a healthy balance. You begin to build resentment over time, whether you know it or not, for any type of job or any colleague that takes you away from other important aspects of your life, which is why you have to be intentional about it, because you do not want to build resentment for your job at the end of the day, or for your colleagues. All right, so take that, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. This is still the Vibes Show. Before we went on the short break, we talked about the impact that the impact of not having a healthy work-life balance can have on our mental health. Now we're going to be talking more about this and mentioning some facts, right? We're going to be discussing about some facts and some things that we need to always have in mind that would keep us on our toes and will help us to really be intentional about having a healthy work-life balance. So the first thing is to know that whatever company or organization you're working in, you are just a part of the number. That is it's a sad truth, but it's the truth, because if anything happens tomorrow, they can easily get a replacement for that role, and work will go on as usual. The company will continue to progress and advance, right? If you tender a resignation, or God forbid, nobody prays for that, you get ill or anything happens and you're not able to continue working there, the business is going to continue as usual without you, because they can easily get a replacement. But guess what? Your family cannot get a replacement for you, right? And you cannot get a replacement for your time as well, because time is the most valuable asset that we have in life. So be intentional about that. Always have that in mind, and be intentional about that when you're working, so that you can be strategic about how to really maintain a firm standard on what work-life balance should look like for you. And so, having said that, for people in career, for people that are building their own businesses, because I know that there are some youth that are building their own businesses from the scratch. I know that building a business, as someone that also has a business, I know that in the earlier stages it can be very demanding, it can be time consuming, it can be stressful, because you are most likely doing everything, right? You're the accountant, you're the customer you're the customer rep, you're everything. You're attending to all the emails and you're doing the actual work. One thing that has helped for me practically is getting help, right? So if you can subcontract some things, for example, instead of being the one doing all the marketing, social media marketing and all of that, you have a website, you're the one managing the website, building the website, you can delegate. You can have a contract with another company, that maybe a marketing company or a website company that can do that for you, that can manage the website for you, or can handle the social media accounts for you. That would take some things off your plate, so that you can now focus your energy on the most important things, on actually putting in efforts to build the actual business, right? Or depending on the level you are at in your business, you can, if you can afford to hire a PA or a customer rep, or anything that you can do to delegate, to take some of the tasks off your plate, that would be really helpful. Okay, so that while you're building your business, you are not losing on other areas of your life. And the third point for that, no matter how much the company you work at cares for you, no matter how caring your manager or your boss is, it's important to know that they are still more concerned about the value you bring to the table, because that's why they hired you in the first place, right? Because of the value you're bringing to the table, to the team or to the organization. So they are more concerned about that truly than your well-being, than your mental health. So it is your personal responsibility to ensure that you prioritize your mental health. So because if work takes that away from you, they are not going to give it back. No matter the pay or the benefits, nothing can compare to the importance of having a healthy mental health, especially on your level of productivity in other areas of your life. So today we've discussed about the importance of work-life balance and its impact on our mental health. And in conclusion, I'm going to be saying that life is in phases and men are in sizes. So do not allow anyone pressure you. Sometimes, or a lot of times, when people take on 2 to 3 jobs, it's because they are pressured, right? They see the lifestyle that some other people have, and they desire to have those kind of lifestyles, and because they're trying to fit in, they're trying to level up or measure up, they're being pressured into taking on more hours, taking on 2 to 3 jobs, which leaves them with little to no time for themselves, for their mental health, for their families, and for other important aspects of our lives. Work is important, but life is not about work, right? So there are other aspects to life, other even more important aspects to life. So it is very important that we strike a healthy balance and we do not allow anyone pressure us into doing what is not best for us. Right, so even though the money is needed, you need to save up for your future and all, but be intentional and be strategic about it. At this point in life, as a youth, this is your prime, and how you maximize your time in this season matters a lot. And again, like I said, it's not just all about work. Yeah, this is the time that you should really work hard. But working hard is not really about how many hours you put into the work or how hard you work. It's all about working smart. And working smart connotes, it entails personal development, how much you know, how much you're building yourself, and you're renewing your mind daily so that you expand your horizon, you think better, you think smarter, you're a better person than who you were yesterday. So you're not in competition with anybody, rather you're in competition with who you were yesterday, because your goal is to be better every day. So if you have that mindset and you're working with that mindset, your goal would not be to have 2 to 3 jobs that is paying maybe minimum wage, and then you keep doing that for years and years and years. Rather, if you keep just one job that is able to meet your basic needs at the moment, and then you invest the remaining time into personal development, rebuilding yourself, rebranding yourself, over time your net worth would increase, and then you're able to move from that minimum wage job to even higher paying opportunities, and that is the wiser way to go. So I hope you were blessed in this episode, or by this episode, and you learned some important things. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you again in the next episode. Until then, take care and keep winning.
The Vibes with Favour Daramola will continue in the next episode.